Hi guys. Oh, I should have shaved today. Yes. Hey, what's up everybody? It's Heracles Porsche here, also known as Gildenlock on Xbox Live. Um, in today's video, we're gonna be covering the Juggernaut. It is a legendary unit. The first time ever on the store we've been able to buy a legendary unit for 40,000 supplies, which is not a small amount. Um, as you see, I have it here. My rotation. We'll look at that in a second. I got it. We'll take a quick look at the stats. I know you guys want to see it actually in action. Um, there you go. Let's just start a game here. So yes, I did not buy it for the 40,000. I got very lucky, and I've had it for a couple days now. But I thought today would be a really good day to actually make a video about the Juggernaut. Um, to be blunt, I mean, I have it at level 1. To be blunt, it is kind of weak. It is hard to justify taking it over the heavy tank from me at this moment. My heavy tank's at level 3. Um, Definitely not a very favorable opening exchange. Need to get some. My anti-tank game is a little weak with this setup. I actually might rotate in an anti-tank mine or something. I have been experimenting with different builds that have the Juggernaut in them. Right now, it's all just relatively cheap infantry, and a Jeep is my build. And that is what I'm going with.
Движися на позицію.
So it's doing a pretty good job hammering the top here. So yes, of course, you must have noticed the officers in there now. Of course, there was a recent update. So the officer no longer is no longer a red. They have decided to change it up. So let's talk about the Juggernaut. I haven't actually described the unit properly. So it is like a heavy tank. It does have a bunch of HP and a big cannon. The thing that sets it apart, of course, is the fact that it has it has a machine gun on the top that will hit other units, but the damage is nothing. The damage on it's not really too crazy. It's not an armor pierce. I don't know if the second cannon on it or the second machine gun on it is armor piercing, but hopefully you've seen that as we've gone through here. So I'll drop a
Haben die Panzer im Visier. Take him out. Für das Reich. Wer kann nicht verlieren? Let's run.
So there's my first match with Juggernaut. It worked out. I have sacrificed a whole bunch of ranking trying to test different builds. I'm actually not, what's probably surprising, I'm actually generally not that big a fan of the officer. The reason I did end up deciding to put the officer in is because, that 30% buff rate, if I end up against a gun turret, which is like the turret that, is responsible for destroying vehicles, I find that I struggle against that, but the officer can definitely put me over against those. Getting an extra 30% speed buff that does frequently let my Juggernaut get an extra shot in, which can result in a whole lot of extra health for it. But I mean, my level 3 heavy tank has more HP than my level 1 Juggernaut, and it costs less. And yes, there is, of course, the Juggernaut does come with that extra cannon on top. but it's not super strong, so it's not really motivating me
Show me the might.
Тихий и
to
смертный.
hold on to it too much. We're gonna try putting it up here, and you'll maybe this will help you give you an idea of how much.
Тихий и смертный.
As you can see, it's very slowly taking out the infantry in the back.
Let's roast. Rain fire on the
So it is the timing, obviously, just like any other unit. Timing of using it's pretty critical. And yeah, if you can kind of, it's very hard to with a 9-point unit. This is the most expensive unit in the game, obviously. If you can kind of find a way to hold off and have it going, you know, in a little more of a retaliatory capacity. All right, let's pit
Не переживай.
my heavy tank, his level 3 heavy tank, comparable HP. So obviously the turret on that Juggernaut. Yeah, Nuno. I was actually they actually asked me to take the day off, so I'm like, okay, I can do that.
Тихий и смертный.
Rain fire on them, boys. Haben die Panzer im Visier. Juggernaut хочет тебя съесть.
So yeah,
Panzer im Bewegung.
the big thing that kind of stands out to me is the fact that the Juggernaut, the legendary units, this doesn't just go for the Juggernaut. It's actually both the legendary units. They take an extra. You actually need 4 copies of the card to upgrade, as opposed to the
В моем обозрении.
Valley boys маево пути.
as opposed to the epic card. I think the first upgrade is only 2 cards, but the first upgrade on legendary is 4.
Panzer im Bewegung.
So very difficult to get an upgrade considering
Kann nicht verlieren.
the massive expense involved with
Rain fire on them, boys.
legendary cards.
Rain fire on them, boys.
And yes. Anyway, I would like to keep. I'm gonna do a whole bunch of games because I would love to let you see how this performs against different builds. We're gonna crack open some boxes real quick. So that I'm getting some more stuff done during this time. But yeah, it's just what I really should stop and do is a side-by-side comparison. Okay, here's the Juggernaut. It's 1,900 health, and as you can see, the secondary damage is 96 a second. So let's take a look. Like, to give you an idea, that's the HP of a machine gunner. So it would take about 3 seconds to take out one of these machine gunner units. So let's see. We'll compare it to see significantly more HP on my even my rank 3 heavy tank. See, that's 2,100. So, and this is 1,900 HP. So 200 HP might not seem like a lot, and costing 1 less might not seem like a lot, but if you add all that stuff together, I'm not a mathematician, but in my mind it makes it a little hard to justify taking the Juggernaut over a heavy tank that's even a couple levels higher. But I'm gonna show you how it plays out. Because I'm sure a lot of people are curious today, because it has become the first legendary unit to actually be in the store and sellable, at least on PlayStation. Of course, I haven't checked how it works on the other systems if they're doing that there too. But yeah, you
В
guys
моем
love.
обозрении.
This video is just really intended to say, okay, how does it stack up against the heavy tank, and are you missing anything? And the answer is, unless you I mean, even one upgrade, I think, could change you know,
Не переживай. Я здесь.
as you can see, it is very slowly taking out those troops around it, but not enough to make me go, oh wow, that's so much more worthwhile than a heavy tank, you know, or, you know. But yes, this is the most expensive unit in the game, both in terms of, you know, deploying it on the field and purchasing it in the meta. So I definitely thought you guys should know what you were in for.
В моем обозрении.
They don't expect.
MG deployed.
Oh, I didn't expect that. I did not expect that.
Panzer in Bewegung. Haben die Panzer im Visier. Let's go. Rain fire on them, boys. Не переживай. Я здесь. Gun turret deployed.
Тихий и смертный.
So this is an important pitting it against the
Haben die Panzer im Visier.
Тихий и смертный.
Wer kann nicht verlieren? Take him out. Проваливай моего пути. Those tanks won't know what hit them for a baby. On the move! MG searching for targets. Take him out.
В моем обозрении.
Kämpf dich, Schweinhund! Rain fire on them, boys.
yeah. I've never been a big fan of the officer, but definitely worth it with the Juggernaut, just because you are gonna have to. I mean, I always think of that officer as a giant risk of getting bombarded, but it's all about really timing it correctly. You know, when they see that officer, they are and they have a bombard ready, you can be kind of certain they're gonna use it. Maybe I should have waited longer and try to get some different people in here to play against. But anyway, so yeah, in the past, unlike a lot of people, never been a big fan of the officer, but obviously, hey, how's it going there, Keith? I'm just gonna call you Keith.
Тихий и смертный.
No, Keith Cyrus 13. That is a safe-ish.
Juggernaut хочет тебя съесть. Those tanks won't know what hit them.
So this first Juggernaut's just not gonna make it through.
Let's go. Rain fire on them, boys.
Dust will not return, Keith. We are there in the middle of making Project Nova.
Wer sind auf dem Weg? Wer kann nicht verlieren? Take him out.
No, we're waiting on Project Nova. That's probably a year and a half away. So you can see why I rotated the Jeep into this, you know, into this group. My reason being, sometimes you end up with a stray unit like that, and it needs a little bit of cover. And really, the Jeep is what's going to get in there and, you know, help you deliver that.
Let's roast them. Let's go! Deploying howitzer.
You're right. I was rude. I was rude, Nuno.
Those tanks won't know what hit them. Anti-infantry, setting up. Kämpft die Schweinhunde!
Тихий и смертный.
On the move! Party time! Artillery setting up. Roger that. MG nest deployed. Проваливайся моего пути.
Движусь на позицию.
Those tanks won't know what hit them. This ought to be fun. Heading out, sir. Deploying howitzer.
So, as you can see, we are playing against, when you start to play against those heavy, installation builds, just like a straight heavy tank build, you are going to struggle. I have tried builds with this and like a medium bomber. It did okay, but I just, I really dislike personally losing that flexibility. I'm not saying a medium bomber build plus Juggernaut isn't worth it. I just find that like lack of flexibility uncomfortable. Hey everybody, check it out. What's up? It's Heracles Porsche's professional intro. Yay! 17 minutes into the actual thing instead of being an actual intro. Yay! I'm so professional. Yay! Yay! Um. Hmm. What else can I say about the Juggernaut, guys? It's actually, is there anything else I can do with this? I have tried the paratrooper with the Juggernaut. I have tried, what do you call this thing? I've tried the track mine with the Juggernaut. That worked decently too, because obviously you are playing against a lot of distracted units. I've tried to stealth build with the Juggernaut. I've tried basically a lot of different 5 cost units, and I just find I don't like anything that costs more than 4, because it just hurts your flexibility too much when the Juggernaut is actually on the way. Yeah. I know, 40,000. I'm like, I would have had zero interest in actually buying a 40,000 unit. But I got lucky before that happened. I actually did get it in the, just randomly in a pack. It's my first time getting the legendary. And most people obviously had the Ranger for a while. Don't have him yet. But, I did luck out just a little bit.
Show me the mine.
And,
Gain in position. This ought to be fun.
Тихий и смертный. В моем обозрении.
Juggernaut, хочет тебя съесть. Leading the way. Wir sind auf dem
But yeah, really for the first, I mean, it's
В
not a
моем
bad unit, but really for the first, when you get it, you're really not missing anything profound over what you'd get with just a heavy tank unit, really.
тихий и
And,
смертный.
I mean, I'm not as big a fan. I have had some good days using the heavy tank, but I'm not as big a fan of those kind of, like, heavy tank builds. But,
Pushing forward.
yeah, I mean, I know the company, I know that 505 Games released a little,
Juggernaut, хочет тебя съесть.
I don't know what to
В
call it,
моем
a little
обозрении.
promo video for the Juggernaut saying, oh look, it's doing, brr, 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 look, it's cool. This Juggernaut unit is cool. It's a cool new thing we did. But I mean, I like to just talk brass tacks with people and just be like, okay, where is this compared to what's already in the game?
Gain in position.
Your heavy tank unit probably.
Ruski.
Oh, this is interesting. So I'm up against a flame tank, 2 motorcycles, and
Show me the fight.
so you can see it actually did take out that flame tank.
Движусь она
I'm in a little bit of trouble here because that's
обозрение.
a lot. That's a lot to deal with.
Zoom Z.
There we go. By the skin of my teeth, I get a little win there. Oh. Yeah, taking on some higher ranked people. It is. You are a potty mouth, Nuno. You are a potty mouth. Um, I wouldn't say it's. I wouldn't use that word. Not because I'm super obsessed with keeping the channel clean. It's not a bad unit, but I just don't see any way that it with the current numbers, to say, okay, this is something I want to pursue over the heavy tank. It is fun to have like that little. Sometimes it can be fun to have that little extra turret at the top, and just watch it take out a couple units on the way. Um, but it is it's bulky, awkward, and
Juggernaut,
um,
хочет тебя съесть.
it actually did a pretty good job taking out that Jeep. So, I mean, that wasn't a bad way to deploy it, really.
Pushing forward.
I mean, let's just sit. I'm gonna let it go all the way to the end zone, and you can kind of, okay. So you kind of saw there what kind of damage we were working with in terms of,
Haben die Panzer
you know, it just raw deploying. It seemed to take out that Jeep pretty fast, which surprised me, but I mean, it wasn't like crazy enough damage to just like wipe out that,
Let's run.
to just like wipe out that minesweeper on the way there. You know, so. Alright, we're gonna go the exact same tactic.
Проваливайся в моего пути.
Deployment was a little slow there, so it's giving that Jeep a little too much time to smash my base. There you go. Yes, and yes, speaking of mixed units, I have noticed that part of the plan, part of the new plan, I guess, seems to involve,
Take him out.
I don't know what to call it. There seems to be like the units they have. I forgot it in yesterday's video. There's what do you call, a line of new units that are coming soon at their plan, and some of them are like mixes of current units. Like I saw one that was like a rebel, a soldier, and a dog all in one. So that's interesting. I am actually curious how that's gonna play out.
Anyone for a Barbie?
So we can watch how he does with these. We'll up it with the officer.
Rain fire on them, boys.
He does that unit does have a lot of bulk, so it can be good for making sure nothing gets past while whatever's behind it is kind of just doing its thing. I mean, the heavy tank has a lot of bulk too, obviously, but
Juggernaut хочет себя съесть.
I mean, it is doing a pretty good job of just like wiping out these commandos on the way there. It lost maybe an eighth of the health,
Движусь на позицию.
and then we finally get this base taken out. But keep in mind, so yeah, I have a really good string of victories here, which I'm really happy to open up the broadcast with. But do keep in mind, like, as I've been playing with this, I was probably, when I first got the Juggernaut, I was probably 20. Yeah, absolutely. That's my same feeling, Vic, is that once it gets a rank up, I have this feeling that it could actually be pretty powerful. We haven't seen exactly what the upgrade gets to Juggernaut yet, so that's gonna be a huge factor. But like I said earlier, it is a 3. I would have liked to play against. Okay, I want my last game here to be against someone different because I really want to show you guys the Juggernaut against different builds.
В моем обозрении.
On the move! Base in Dottenbig. Naval strike inbound. Yeehaw! Heading out, sir.
That was not very efficient use of my whatever you want to call it.
Juggernaut хочет
So
себя
now my
съесть.
Juggernaut is going to kill some unit, help my base kill some units on the way as it's rolling out. Obviously, I gotta voluntarily take a bit of a hit there. As
Show me
we're,
the mine. Rain fire, boys.
but yeah, it doesn't. I wouldn't say it takes I mean, it goes without saying it takes practice to use the Juggernaut well. You know, obviously, someone using the Juggernaut for their first time versus somebody who, you know, has had a little time to figure out how to deploy it, how to mix the units around it, all that kind of stuff, is going to make much better use of it. But yeah, as I was saying before, keep in mind, I was at 2600 ranking before I started playing around with the Juggernaut. I probably dropped into the
Движусь на
mid
позицию.
2300s while I was figuring out how to use it
Не
effectively.
переживай. Yes.
And,
Let's go. Fire in the hole.
that was a huge waste. It goes without saying.
Leading the way. Gain in position.
В моем обозрении.
So as you can see, I'm playing against the same player. This player is kind of, you can see him kind of adapting to my tactics a little bit here.
Juggernaut хочет себя съесть. Fire in the hole.
Yeah, those are exactly the builds I'm struggling with most. Those kind of like overloaded
In position.
base builds are pretty hard to get around. And I mean, you can, of course, every build, even when you're focusing on one unit, has a counter build. Like I have tried mixing a medium bomber in, but I just, it's so awkward to try and play like that. Like you just
Не
really,
переживай. Ясно.
you know, you really lose so much flexibility if you don't have low-cost units to pair with the Juggernaut. And, so it does make a very, it is just an awkward play style for me. Alright, hopefully we will get to play against someone different so I can just show you how the Juggernaut plays against different people. We'll take another extra little second. The leaderboard slow to load as usual. Hopefully you guys are enjoying 1.4.3, I think is the build is. Yes, we've noticed a lot of graphical changes. One thing I did fail to mention in yesterday's video was the upcoming units, or the coming soon units. So as you can see here, we have a Looks like some kind of barrier. This is the only one we have an actual date for, so I guess 5 days from today's broadcast. We'll have a new unit, which is some kind of barrier. We don't have any info on it. We see a couple other things that look like light tanks in here, like I was talking about earlier. There's just bizarre mix of rebel, soldier, and doggy in their unit that's coming out. I mean, these could be a while away. If the soonest unit's not coming for 5 days, these other units we probably won't see for a couple weeks. I don't know. And this wheel thing, I don't know. So I kind of wish I had some World War II expert to be like, I know what these things are. Obviously, that barrier is a little recognizable, but yeah. So anyway, those are coming soon. Let's see how this yeah. But yeah, obviously I am a big fan of putting together builds that can beat those heavy base builds. It's kind of why for so much of my career I've used the heavy bomber and those kind of things.
Party time. Ich bin auf dem Weg.
Движется на позицию.
So
Движется на позицию.
this is kind of how you use the officer. You don't do a crazy stack. You just slip it in there when it's like
On the move.
more or less ready to,
Fire on them, boys.
you know,
Time.
when it's more or less ready to work in a kind of surprise way, and you've tapped into your other units, or vice versa. You either use it as bait, or you use it as a boost when they're exhausted. You don't try to overstack with that officer. I've learned that the hard way. As crazy fast as you can take out. Okay, that was not the right move there. I'm gonna lose that base because of dumb. Okay, but hopefully what I'm gonna be doing here is just
Nous partons en éclairage.
hurting him more than he hurts me. At the end of the day, that's what matters. So yeah, as you can see, normally I am very, in the past I've had those kind of I'll have to react to everything kind of thoughts, and I mean I still play that way sometimes, but I have kind of learned, sometimes you just got to take the hit here so you can deliver a bigger hit over there. You guys know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't.
On the move.
Движется на позицию.
Take him out.
Движется на позицию.
So yeah, I've experimented with the gun turret, and the gun turret is a decent thing to mix with the Juggernaut, by the way. I have been sticking with this one build the whole time because I have got it working for me quite nicely. But yeah, I have tried the gun turret, so if you were thinking about which base to put in there, the gun turret could do decently. And obviously I've tried to mix anti-armor infantry and anti-infantry in with this Juggernaut. The reason I'd say, and obviously you guys, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know what a huge fan I used to be of the howitzer. But I'm recommending, if you are taking a turret with the Juggernaut, I am recommending the gun turret over the howitzer, just because it can be a little, you want your anti-tank game to be more durable, right? Like, the gun turret is a much more durable unit. So you are looking for a turret with HP that can take a hit rather than one that kind of hides the way the howitzer does. Does that make any sense to you guys? I hope so. I hope so.
Party time.
I mean, yeah, I still do like the howitzer. I probably will use it again. I'm not as big a fan of it as I
Движемся на
used to be.
позицию.
Um,
Тихий
No
и
problem.
смертный.
Take him out. Anyone for a Barbie?
that was too late. I should have taken the hit from those last 2 units. But it's worked out. Yeah, I am still a pretty big fan of the howitzer,
On the
but
move. Wesen Doppelweg.
I mean, part of it was
Обозрение.
if you need to develop tactics to use the howitzer. Like I was actually gonna do a whole video just on howitzer placement. You know,
Zum Sieg.
how to protect your howitzer so your howitzers can protect you. When those rare moments are, you can actually use it offensively and get a surprise win with it. But what you really need, what's very important is unit synergy. Like, to use the howitzer properly, in my mind, I also need to have a fortifications unit. If I have a fortifications unit and a howitzer, that cuts into my flexibility, which doesn't work with the Juggernaut unit, basically.
Gain in position. Take him out.
So yeah, I find flexibility, you know, in terms of being able to have a response to whatever they bring out. It's just such a key thing with me. So,
Wir machen sie alle. Gain in position. No problem. Kämpft die Schweinhunde. Nicht so wie Roger that.
Тихий и смертный.
Wesen Doppelweg. Take him out. Let's roast them. No problem.
Движемся на позицию.
so as you can see, that Jeep is there for when I can't mix the, you know, my infantry needs some other coverage besides the Juggernaut. So that Jeep is there to do that. And sometimes the Jeep can be nice on the fly if they happen to be dumb enough to put their howitzers up in the front. I dropped my defenses here. I'm losing this. All right, that should have been a win, but I kind of got distracted. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. What am I? I need to go back and look at. Area damage 211. So cut that in half. Yeah, that should have been a win. But anyway, but yeah, I hope watching. I don't know. I hope you guys like after I've done this for like once I hit the 1 hour mark, it'll be kind of silly of me to keep going. Like I know, like I'm just trying to work with. I do understand, you know, the limits of human patience. I do want to work within them. So, I think at the hour mark, there's not that many. We're outside of an hour. I don't think there's too many people who will have the kind of curiosity and drive to like want to, right, like watch an hour of gameplay. But like an hour is a good number. It will let you guys see like how the Juggernaut plays against a few different builds. I'm keeping my build consistent just because I feel like this, after about a week of experimentation, this build really did seem to be, this is, as far as I can tell, the optimized build, you know, to have a Juggernaut, you know, units to have around the Juggernaut. That was dumb. That officer, okay, the officers didn't get grenaded, so that's good. getting that Jeep just so that my other units in behind had a little extra coverage, which actually was pretty key. So hopefully that served as a good demo for why I mixed the Jeep into that mix. I mean, that Jeep didn't... It was only a couple extra seconds of life for the units behind it, but it really... I mean, when that's a low HP machine gunner and an officer, it kind of makes a lot of sense. That's so nice of you, No. It's so kind of you to say.
No problem. Take him out. Be sure to be fun. Haben die Panzer im Visier. Head forward. Rain fire on them, boys.
Yeah.
The flames will burst. Gain in position.
Now he's popping AT mines on me. So, unfortunately, yeah, he just hit me with 2 anti-tank mines, and that's gonna put me way behind on points. So,
Be sure to be fun. Gain in position. No problem. Take him out. Party time. En avant.
It must be really awkward for you guys looking at basically my hairy chin this whole video. It's okay. Well, I mean, and the math on that was not properly done by me, you know. If I'd literally, that is one of those situations where an upgrade on that unit would have made the difference between life and death. So sometimes upgrades do matter. But yeah, one of the things I'm struggling with is because I used to be very rigid in the build I would use, and now I'm rotating through a lot of different builds, trying a lot of different things, and that means kind of spreading out my investments a lot, which you know, that's resulted in, you know, so my approach is surprising more players, but it's also kind of, you know. It means weaker units overall because my investments are a bit spread out. So sometimes in a game like that, you can pay for it. If I was completely dedicated to the rocket, it'd be rank 9 right now, and I would have won that last game. But because I keep trying different things, you know, I kind of have to pay for it. So I mean, sometimes this Juggernaut surprises me with, like, you know, how fast it takes out certain units. Now I'm holding back here. I don't... But yeah, balancing how big a stack you put behind the Juggernaut is obviously a bit of a key thing. You make the stack too big, you become vulnerable to bombards. You make the stack too small, you know, you're not damaging that enemy base and whatever else is in front of it fast enough. So it is always like a very like entertaining balancing act you're doing with deciding how many and which units you're gonna stack behind your Juggernaut or your heavy tank. Really, I mean, if you've spent time learning how to play that heavy tank, you have most of the skills you need for figuring out how to play the Juggernaut. It's just, you gotta be like a little more delicate because, you know, you are using a higher cost unit. And you have less points to work with.
for a Barbie? On the move! Nie przeszywaj. Jazdes.
Yeah, I mean that is a good tactic with the officer to think about the placement like that. Because I mean with the heavy tank, that's probably a more critical. Uh, I mean the tactic you're talking about, Vict, absolutely makes a whole lot of sense. That is probably the optimal way to play with the heavy tank, and I mean it probably in certain situations it'll be optimal with the Juggernaut too. That is one of those minor differences that I think I've just find my units don't end up slipping past the Juggernaut a lot. That is one of the key, because it is so bulky. That is one of the other key differences is he's a bit of a fatty, so he won't let your units or enemy units through too easily, and sometimes that makes it work better, and sometimes that makes it work worse. So I think what I'll do is I'll go maybe I'll go like just shy of an hour, and then it'd be like like those people who are like uh it's like it's 99 cents. It's like no, it's $1. So I'm like it's an hour. It's like no, it's 59 minutes. That makes sense, right? I think so. So I'm sensing I'm gonna be up against another whatchamacallit.
Тихий и смертный.
So that deployment wasn't quite right, but it does actually no, that worked out pretty decently. That let me get some good hits off with that bazooka unit. What am I gonna say here?
В моем обозрении.
Roger that. Provale voice maevo putti.
So yeah, trying something a little different. Trying to do a little bit of a counter deployment on that one. So here's a case of me trying to put out units to help me break through their bases quickly, but not over deploying. Waiting for his counter. It's not coming out for whatever reason. So things are working out well here.
Движусь на позицию.
Those tanks won't know what hit 'em.
So we're literally just gonna put out another one. Another Juggernaut for lulz at this point. In fact, we're gonna do a crazy stack. Okay, just for lulz.
Тихий и смертный.
And yeah, that's good. So when this video's done, if you guys have any questions about the Juggernaut, of course, as usual, I'll be happy to answer anything. Let's see here. Let's just do my finishing donations and take a quick look at the leaderboard here. And we'll play one final game. we'll do one final. My last attempt to play against something a little bit new, hopefully. And see here we are running in a little thing where some display errors that happen sometimes after the last patch.
Ich bin auf dem Weg. Provale voi smaevo putti. Let's go! Kämpf dich, Schweinhunde! Fire and hole! Ready to drop! Anyone for a Bobby?
Well, yeah, that kind of, I think that served as a half decent way to use the Juggernaut. I let myself take a little bit of a hit, placing it defensively, letting the little cannon along it do some collateral damage on the way against distracted units.
Nie przeszywaj. Jazdes. Fire and hole!
Fortunately, he did have direct damage, so it didn't work right there. So, I know, dude, I was in the top 50 once upon a time. Now that I've kind of just let go of that, I kind of find when I play this game, it's like a very stress-free experience of me, not trying to, obsessing over eliteness, if you know what I'm saying? Like, just every game is just a game now. Now that I'm not thinking about it, I'm kind of just enjoying myself more. So, and just covering updates and talking about whatever's out there, you know. So yes, also I'm gonna mention, yeah, my next idea for a video is gonna be, one where I whine about, 505 Games' lack of community support. Because we didn't get patch notes, we still don't have forums, and I think 505 Games should fix that. So I will be trying to speak directly to them and see if that makes any kind of impression. Because I find when I've experimented in the past with trying to speak directly to or about companies or CEOs, and I mean, I have no idea if I get through, but I feel like at the very least I get like a good reception from people if I talk directly about the kind of issues, business issues, whatever you want to call it. I do complain every video, but like it's always just something I slip in there. Like this is gonna be my actual focused, constructive criticism on 505 Games and their lack of community support, type deal. Not that I don't love them for making this lovely game, but like, where are forums? Where's the marketing for this game? You guys want this game to live, right? So I'll bitch about that next time. We had a clean episode too, and then I had to go and do that. So thank you so much for being here with me, everybody. I hope you got a good look at the Juggernaut. I think just shy of an hour gameplay is a pretty thorough look. So you see how it plays, what units work really well with it. And as I mentioned, I mentioned some of my experiments I've been doing over the last week that didn't work as well. If you have your own Juggernaut builds that you think work extremely well, I would love to hear about them. I might even try them out. Yeah, and of course, any feedback you have on the Juggernaut or anything else is always welcome. And until next time, everybody, I shall see you Starside.